Hey everyone, welcome to today's video where we're going to talk about the Chinese EV market and the weekly insurance registration numbers, and also focus on Nio stock price. It's been struggling again. We can see firstly, if you look at Xpeng over the past 5 years, Xpeng has been struggling. Very common for the big Chinese companies, even Alibaba and so on. So it's not only for Nio and Xpeng. But I could say also that over the past year, Xpeng is up almost 60%, right? Now, let's do the same kind of look and watch on Nio, right? Let's go to the automotive list and see what Nio has been doing. Right now, Nio is down almost 4% on the day. Xpeng is up 5-6%, so it's already 10% different. Now, if you go 5-year time frame and look at compared to the peak, it's obviously quite a lot down. But if you look at the 1-year time frame, Xpeng was up almost 60%, Nio is down 30% or so. Not a great look for Nio, and I think at this point I'm very disappointed with the management. I understand the long term, I understand the Nio infrastructure, I understand that they are operating in a more expensive segment of the market, but all that being said, we also know that Nio launched Onvo, which is the cheaper brand. So it's not like Nio is only operating in the premium segment, right? With Onvo, they're obviously entering in the other market. Now, the difficulty for me is that look at the sentiment out there. So look at Morty. Actually, remember that Morty was a Nio bull a few years back, kind of turned, and I think, to be honest, he made the right decision when he made it like 2 or 3 years ago, because in the meantime, Nio stock hasn't done anything. In fact, we've been losing a lot of money in this stock. Now, look at these comments, right? Is this company about cars? Is it a cafe? Maybe it's a gym. I mean, he's a bit sarcastic, right? It's a dog company. Why does he say that? Well, look at this. Nio forms a team to research AI robot dog project. I mean, come on. It was a phone. It was, multiple different brands. It was multiple different cars per brand, ET7, ET7 Touring, ET5 and ET9 and all EC and ES or whatever it is, right? It's so many different projects, and Nios R&D budget, it's around half of what Tesla's is. This is so bizarre. Tesla is selling 5 to 6 times more cars, but their R&D budget is only 5 times more. That includes the Tesla FSD, that includes the Tesla, energy storage business. So it's honestly, I'm starting to get really frustrated with this management. Like, why don't you focus on your core business? Like, look at this. Last week, it's so funny because if you look at the numbers for last week, right? The middle bar here, you can see that Tesla in blue was doing great. Well, not great, but it was an okay start to the year. But especially LiAuto and Xpeng did a really great start to the year. Nio at 3,300 combined for Onvo and the traditional Nio brand. 1,500 for Nio traditional brand and 1,800 for Onvo. Obviously, Onvo is ramping up, so on and so forth, but we know that Xpeng Mona 3 is also ramping up, although they started a little bit earlier. But all I'm telling you, if I was, maybe some other people on the internet, Twitter or YouTube, I could tell you, yeah, sure. This 3,300 and 4,700 is not necessarily bad. I showed you that there are around 3,000 more deliveries compared to the entire month of January of last year, which they delivered 10,000. They're already at 13,000 with like 10 days left. So Nio is obviously developing at some kind of rate. But compared to its peers, it's not a good beginning of the 2025. You can see that Nio is around 10,000 cars behind obviously Xpeng, which is at the almost 24,000 cars. Nio is like 13,300. So all I'm saying, when is this management gonna take responsibility? You have to look very hard to find a share price and stock price or stock chart that is as bad as Nio's. Look at this, year after year after year is just underperforming and going down and to oblivion. You could argue that the value of the company should be much higher, but why is not the market seeing this? It's not only shorts. Come on, we have to be realistic. If it's only shorts, it means that shorts are so powerful that they could, affect the price of any stock as they would have wanted, right? Come on, guys. If the solution is easy, it's not the answer to the problem. The problem is the management is doing this kind of stuff. I'm not saying that investing in AI is bad, but investing as a car company in AI, in phones, in clothing brands, in all of this at the same time with limited resources, is leading to the point where you're losing market share compared to even the likes of Xpeng, let alone like, LiAuto or, I mean, remember, don't forget that these are just a few car companies I'm following. You could look at Geely, with the Zeekr, with the Lincoln company. You could look at the new Xiaomi cars, Aito, like there's a lot of other brands out there that I'm not even covering here, right? So it's not that, Nio is losing only compared to Xpeng in terms of market share. They're losing compared to a lot of players out there. Now, again, it's not bad. We could easily finish January with at least 20,000 cars, right? Probably even 25,000 is possible. Although I would be a little bit cautious now, even more so than I was previously, because we know that the Chinese New Year is starting on 28th, I believe, and it's gonna go a few days into February as well. So probably expecting slow first week of February, maybe even spilling into the second week of February. And we're probably going to start to see a slowdown very soon in weekly deliveries. Probably even next week is possible. So even my goal, which was maybe for some of you guys, when I said that 25,000, it's possible. I have to be honest, I said that it's possible that they will do more than 25. Remember, they did 31,000 or so in December. Reason I lowered it is because Chinese New Year, usually January is a slow month, also February. And we know that Nio had a kind of slow start in the first week of January. And in the second week, it was quite bad. I have to say, 3,000 for 2025 on a weekly basis, I would call it now bad. In 2023, it was, I would say, okay. In 2024, it was barely okay. But in 2025, 3,300 deliveries in 1 week, I don't like it at all. Even if it's in January, which is the slow month of the year. Kind of. Due to all of these reasons, this is why you see the stock price behaving this way. And again, I'm sorry to, say this again, time and time again. They're building so many swap stations and it's costing them in the short term. And this gives the shorts a very easy and simple reason to maybe even attack the stock even more. So if you're the CEO, why don't you, for the love of God, try to see the bigger picture? Yeah, sure, you can invest for the future. It's so easy to say, invest for the future. What does it even mean? Well, I mean, it doesn't mean that you should go and, burn your money on multiple different like phones and AI dogs or whatever. What's the next, AI cats or whatever? I mean, come on, guys. I like Nio. I really want this company to succeed. But I cannot just sit here, the week that the numbers are not that great, as I showed you now on the weekly delivery, and then pretend that everything is fine, right? It's not the worst, delivery numbers. It's not. But again, compare it to Xpeng. I mean, the same kind of opportunity out there for Xpeng. How come that they're delivering? I mean, at this rate, you wouldn't be surprised if they sell twice as many cars as Nio do in January month, right? And that is why Nio is down and Xpeng is up. Like, go look at the Xpeng price for the year to date. So year to date, Xpeng is up 26%. Now, what is Nio doing over year to date? So that's going to be really interesting. So over the first 3 weeks of the month, or 3 weeks of the year, to be honest, let's see what we're doing. Nio is 4.5% down. Come on, it's like, I mean, it's 30% difference. And I've been like hinting that maybe in the short term, Xpeng is better option there. And I think that's the truth. Sure, tip ranks, the price target 5.5, but it's difficult, guys. I have to be honest with you. Sure, the average usage of the swap infrastructure increasing. It's going up, 87,000, almost 87.5 over the past 30 days. Great sign. But they're building so many swap stations. So it's not, the utilization per swap station is not going up. We're still stuck around, I would say, let's say 30 or so average swaps per station, which is half of the break-even number that I've said. Again, I'm not, trying to scare you. I'm not saying that you should sell your stock. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm just saying, maybe, just maybe, if even the smaller investors start to actually put some pressure on the CEO and the other in the leadership, maybe we would see something different. But if we go out there and, even when they kind of do bad decisions, kind of reward them. Oh, but long term, every time Nio does a bad kind of solution, we always complain and say, oh, maybe in long term they're gonna solve it. Long term is not answer to everything. we need to live in the moment. The reality is right now, and they're destroying like investor capital like very few companies did in the, as far as I remember. And this is so sad because there's so many small investors, even me myself, loads of people I know, even close to me. I know a lot of you guys are doing it. So again, I'm not like, even I'm hurting here. Like, trust me, I've never ever in my life lost so much money as I done in a stock, and that stock is Nio. By far, it's like the distance in terms of how much I'm like down on Nio is almost 10x compared to my, the second stock on the list. So I'm not saying this as someone that wants the company to fail. I truly like the company. I like the products, but they need to focus on what they're good at. Like this whole Neo phone. Why did they do that? Like, it's just waste. It's just waste at the moment. Maybe in the future, sure, but why not, save that 5 years in ahead when the company's future is more safe. So that's it, for this week. I know it's negative, but I have to be honest. I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to be just a yes man and telling you that everything is fine. No, everything is not fine. The CEO clearly doesn't care about the stock price in short term. You could argue in long term. Like, I mean, it's been 4 years. It's gonna probably at this rate be 5 years where the stock is going something like 40-50% every year. I'm not here to lie to you. So that's the reality, and I have to be honest. It's up to you to do with it what you feel best. But I really hope that we as an investor group, even the smaller investors, start to actually put pressure online on the management. This is not okay. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate your time, and please comment. I think this is I really like to see what your comments are, and see you in the next one.